Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel SK Tech. So in today's video we are going to discuss about the classes and object in detail. So in my previous video we have seen introduction of the OOPS concept, where we have also discussed like the features of the OOPS concept, and in this video and onward we are going to discuss like all the features one by one. So let's begin. First features of the OOPS concept is classes and objects. So we know a class is a model for creating an object. This means the properties and the actions of the objects are written inside the class. So something like properties are represented by the variables and actions of objects are represented by the methods. So a class contains variables and methods. So same variables and methods are also available in the object because they are created from the class itself. We will see how to create that and what is that object. So basically these properties or these variables are also called as instance variable. So what is the meaning of instance? Instance means object itself. So if you create the multiple objects from the same class, so same variable is going to be available for each of the instance. Okay, so if we take person class, we can write the code like this. So we can write the code in the class that specify the properties and actions performed by the persons. For example, a person, let's say if you have a property like name and age. Similarly, person can perform some operation like he can walk, he can talk. So let's say we have created one actions like talk here, right? So here if you observe the class keyword, so this is the keyword basically is used to declare a class, and after this we have to declare like class name like we have given as a person. Then from the starting curly braces to ending curly braces inside the class we have to write the properties and the methods, right? So these are the properties, let's say we have written it, and method, let's say we have written like this. So don't worry about the syntax of the methods, basically we will discuss in detail in later point of time. So just observe here like we have given like void talk and then braces and then starting curly braces ending curly braces. So here void means it is not going to return anything, and then after that we have given the name of the methods, for example talk, and then we are not providing any argument inside these braces, right? Means we can provide some value also, that is called the parameters. So since we are not providing anything, it means that it is not going to accept anything from us. So this is what we are performing some operations inside the stock. So something we are printing simple statement here, we can perform some task also. So let's say we have given like hello I am, and then we have concatenated with the variable, whatever the instance variable we have declared here, right? And similarly for the age, my age is something. So writing a class is not sufficient, right? It should be used. So to use this class, we should create the instance to the class. So object creation represent allocating memory necessary to store the actual data of the variable. For example, this variable name and age. So how we can create the object of the class? So that is something like there is some syntax that we need to follow. So syntax is like we need to provide class name, then object name equal to new operator, then again the same class name, and then we can provide the braces. So to create the object, let's say we want to create the object as a Raju. So Raju is a type of person, right? So we can create, let's say we can create the object as a Raju. So we can write like something this. Class name is person, object name is Raju, then equal to new person. So here new is an operator that create the object to the person class. Hence the right side of the statement is responsible for creating the object. So what about the left side statement? So left side statement is responsible for storing that object that has been created from the right side. So let's say we are storing the object in a variable called Raju here, right? So this is how we can create the object of the class. So let us deep dive and understand with the help of the diagram how JVM is going to perform when we are doing the object creation. So this is what the structure of the JVM's internal structure basically that JVM is going to perform. So we know that class code along with the method codes is stored in the method area, right, of a JVM. So when an object is created, the memory is allocated on the heap memory. After creation of the object, JVM produce a unique reference number for the object from the memory address of the objects. So this reference is nothing but called as a hash code. So we will see how to create the object and print the hash code that JVM internally is allocating. Okay, there is a method provided by the Java to print that hash code basically. So here if you see, the object reference hash code internally represent the heap memory variable where instance variables are stored. There would be a pointer that is nothing but the memory address from the heap memory to the special structure located in the method area. So this is a pointer which is pointing in the method area and is from the structure area. So this structure area basically store the methods reference and all the static variables. So let's say if we created two methods, so two references will be stored here, and let's say we have some of the static variables, that references also will be stored here in the structure area. So let's go to the IntelliJ IDE and write some simple Java program to the person class and create an object Raju and see what is happening here. So let's say we have created the class as person and we are going to write some variables that is nothing but the property and actions that is nothing but the methods, right? So let's write something like string name and string age, and let's write some actions something like, let's say void top, and let's write some statement here that is going to perform by this top operation. So let's say write something, my name is, and then name variable. Similarly another statement should be my age is, then age variable. And to use the functionality of this person class, we have to create the object of this person class, right? So let's create another class where we are going to use the functionality of this person class. So let's give the name as demo, and here what we are going to do, we are going to create the main method, and inside the main method we are going to create the object basically. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a person class object, and we are going to, first we are going to do is like find the hash code of a object. So how to create the object from the person class, we have seen we have to give the class name that is person, and then object name, let's say we are given like Raju, and then new, and then again person name, right? This is the syntax of creating the object. And let's say how we can print the hash code, right? The JVM has provided one method called hash code that we can write it here. So let's write some statement to print it. So let's give Raju dot hash code. So this method is responsible for printing the hash code number that is assigned by the JVM to this variable. Basically it's a reference variable. That is what we have seen in this diagram, right? So let's run this program and see the output. So if you observe here, it is printing some random integer number. That integer number is nothing but the hash code. So what is happening here basically, so here JVM will create an object to the person class on the heap memory basically, okay, on the heap memory, and return the unique reference number that is nothing but the hash code. And this is the variable that we have given, right? So this reference number is stored into the variable called Raju as shown in here, and Raju is called like reference variable, since by storing the reference number it is referring to the object located on the memory, right? So we understand that object on a heap contain the instance variable, because if you see the name and age is stored in the heap, and the method, that what was the method we have created, that is storing into the method area. So there is a two storage basically, heap and method area. Heap is storing only the instance variable that is name and age, and methods are not store the object on the heap, right? So let's go to the again IntelliJ and try to just rewrite this program and try to use the functionality of the person class, because right now we have just created the instance of the person class and we have used hash code method to print the hash code that is assigned by the JVM. So there is a functionality that we have defined here like top. So how to use that? So using this reference only we can call that. How we can call that? So using the reference like Raju dot talk, right? So what are the statement or what are the actions has been written inside this talk method? It is going to print. So let's run this program and see the output. Yeah, so we see it is printing like my name is null and my age is 0. That functionality is written inside the talk method, something like this. So if you observe here, we created the object of the person class as Raju, but we have not initialized the instance variable that we have created inside the person, right? So initialization means storing the starting data. Since we did not initialize the instance variable of this person class, that is we have created like name and age, Java compiler adds some additional code to perform some operations. So when JVM execute this statement, basically what it is going to store, it is store the null into the name and 0 into the age, right? So here null means nothing. So what this is, null or 0? So that is called default value. So for each data type, JVM have some default value. So let's see what are the default some value available here. So this is the table of the default value for all the data type available in Java. For boolean, default value will be false. Character, there should unicode value. Byte should be 0. Short, int, all it should be 0. Long also it should be 0, but with the some extra character like L. Float for again 0. Double is also 0.0. For all the string and any other class type, it should be null. So since we have used like string type and integer type, so it was printing the default value as null or 0, right? Because we have not initialized it. So let's see how to initialize it. So basically, if you are not initializing it, Java compiler is assigning some default value. So it is the duty of the programmer to initialize the instance variable depending on his requirement. So there are various ways to do this. First way is to initialize the instance variable of a person class is in the other class. So like how we have seen here. So this is the person class and that we are using inside the other class, that is demo. And here we can initialize it. How we can do it? We can call like using the reference variable, let's say Raju dot variable name, like name. So let's give name as something Raju, and let's give the age as equal to 22, and let's run this program. Yeah, so if you see here, so in this way we have initialized the instance variable of a person class in some other class, and it is printing like now my name is Raju and my age is 22, right? But initializing the instance variable in the some other class actually violate the security. Why? Because let's say if a person class is written by some programmer and the demo class is written by some other programmer, then the other programmer is accessing the person class instance variable directly storing the data into them. So this will override the originality stored data of the person class, right? For example, let's say right now we have not initialized it. So it was having some default value and the other person, let's say demo, is initializing it, right? But there is another way of initializing this instance variable while creating itself. Let's say we created the variable like name and provide some value like, let's say SK10, and let's say age we have given like 32, right? And if you run this program, what it is going to print? Is it going to print the person class value or is it going to print the demo class value? So basically, if you observe the output, so what it is printing? It is printing like my name is Raju and my age is 22. Even though we have defined some value here in the person class, right? So this is the one. It's violate the security. It is changing the original value from the person class, right? So protection for data is always needed because all companies are worried about security of data, which is compulsory, right? Just think in an organization of database, an employee salary is stored 12,500 and is modified by some other programmer, let's say 22,500. So this is the sensitive data, right? And should not be modified by any external resource. So for this purpose, so Java provided some concept called access specifier. Using the access specifier, we can protect the variables and methods. So what is access specifier? So let's discuss in detail here. So access specifier is a keyword that specify how to access the member of the class or a class itself. Okay, so we can use this access specifier before a class and its members. So basically there are four types of the access specifier. First is like private. So private means private member of a class are not accessible anywhere outside of the class. They are accessible only within the class by the member of that class. Second access specifier is public. Public member of a class are accessible anywhere. Anywhere in the sense outside of the class, in the same package or in the different package. Third access specifier is like protected. That means if you define the protected members, so protected member of a class are accessible outside of the class but generally within the same directory. And if you do not specify any access specifier, so Java is going to define as a default access specifier. That is what is happening in our case, right? We have not defined any access specifier here. So it is denoted like it is a default and it is accessible outside of the class but in the same directory. Same directory in the sense these two classes are in the same directory of this class. This is called package. We will discuss in detail in later point of time. So that's why demo class is able to access the person class variables and able to modify it. That is like is the way of initializing the value, but that is also violate the security of the data because this demo class is able to access it and modify it. Even though we have given the value as sktek and age 32, it is printing like Raju and 22 in the output, right? So we can use this or any of these access specifier to protect it. So out of this we can use based on a requirement. So we generally use the private for the instance variable and public for the method. So something like we can give like something here private and here also is like private, right? So if you can see it is throwing some exception. Now this variable is not accessible because it is showing name has private access in this class, right? So now it is not going to access it. So this is how you can protect it, this instance variable of the class, so that it will be not accessible outside of the class. So if you run this program, it is going to print the value. What are the value that we have initialized it here, not outside of the class that we have modified. Basically, it is not allowing also. So if you see if you run the program and see the output, now the output it is showing like my name is sktek and my age is 32. So this is the another way of initializing of the variable, right? But this is also not a good practice. Why? Because let's say here we have created the instance of a class as Raju and we are printing it. So it is printing like this sktek 32. Let's say we created another instance of this class. Okay, let's copy this program and let's give some sense to meaningful name like Raju only because this is the Raju type. Okay, and here instead of let's say Raju, let's say we are giving Sita, right? Because Sita is also kind of person and Raju is also kind of person. And if you are running this program, let's remove this first, this hash code things. So if you run this program and see the output, so if you observe here what it is printing like my name is Raju, my age is 32. Again it is printing my name is Raju, my age is 32. Even though we have created here different object of Sita, right? So this is also not a good practice. Since these two objects are different, so the value should be printed accordingly, right? This is happening because both the objects are initialized with the same data that we have initialized here, right? So we need the Sita should get Sita data, not the Raju data. But here, since we have initialized in the person class itself, so if you are creating multiple instance, it is printing the same value which we have here provided. So that's why there is another concept called constructor that is going to use to initialize the variable. We will see in detail how to use what is the constructor and what is the use of the constructor to overcome this problem in the next video. So stay tuned. We'll meet you soon. Thank you.